Hello, this is Photography Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing God of War Ragnarok, which is available on PS4 and PS5. God of War Ragnarok is an action-adventure game developed by Santa Monica Studio. Ragnarok takes place 3 years after the events of the previous game. You play as Kratos, the God of War, and his son Atreus in an epic adventure full of twists and turns. So what is the game like to play? Well, Ragnarok is a game broken down into 3 distinct areas: exploration, combat, and puzzle solving. In regard to combat, you've got 2 main weapons of note. You've got an ice axe and fire blades. Weapons and armor can be upgraded as you find enough resources. Generally, I would say combat is fluid, responsive, and in-depth, with blocks, parries, and overpowered rage attacks, making each confrontation high-octane and satisfying. In terms of exploration, you now have all 9 realms to explore, and it's a vast series of locations, but again, it is not an open world. Think of it like a series of medium-sized locations with narrow pathways gently leading you down the right way. But there's a huge amount of side quests and activities to get lost in, if you choose to of course, but none of these are absolutely necessary, but they do help your character evolve. Now, puzzle solving. This is a really interesting part of the game and does require a lot of thought. Sadly though, almost all of the puzzles are ruined by the annoying NPC allies that travel with you. In a recent trend, Sony have added these kind of NPC tutorials in all of their big AAA games like Horizon and God of War. The NPC allies, they never stop talking, and they ruin 90% of all of the in-game world puzzles.
Did you see that over there?
You? Why?
There's a broken door up to the left behind this crane. Maybe Tyr tried to escape. We should look.
Do you seek death?
No more than you.
Then why? I have tried to walk this path with you. We follow your every whim.
But you don't believe in any of it.
And still I follow.
It is a ridiculous addition that clearly shows that they haven't really consulted gamers or had game testers that are actually doing their jobs correctly. Why have a puzzle if the game tells you how to complete it immediately? It takes away any sense of adventure and achievement, and it will have you craving for the blissful silence of games like Elden Ring. Story-wise, it's very well written, although I'd say for a game that used to be all about action, Ragnarok has a huge amount of dialogue and cutscenes. In a lot of instances, these overly long dialogue segments do more harm than good, and they really are consistently momentum killers. There's a section in particular where you go fruit picking and talking for about 60 minutes to a character that you've never heard of.
Excuse me?
It sounds like she likes you. Could you grab that one?
I would say it's definitely veering far too distant from its original roots of the kind of combat emphasis. Graphically, Ragnarok, it's a stunning piece of work, with the footage that you're watching was being recorded on the PS4, the character models, the weapons, outfit details, the environments. It's really beautiful to behold, and it's just so well done. In terms of sound, the music is fantastic and the voice acting is also very good. The cutscenes in particular, they're wonderful.
I am thinking. I want things to be the way they were.
Well, I'd like to climb a tree again. Certain ships have sailed.
Those blades. I know you.
No.
Not one for gastronomic exploration, I see.
But it is the NPC puzzle giveaway jibber jabber that ruins the kind of audio experience for me. I really do hope that the developers patch this out, because it doesn't need to be in there, and a lot of gamers have found it very irritating. Okay, what's good and what's bad? The good points. The combat is ferocious, tactical and varied. The game world is huge and looks fantastic. Graphically, it's a delight. The story is pretty solid, although it does have a little too many sections that kill the momentum, and there's a mountain of side content. Bad points. The game focuses too much on story, narrative and chit-chat. The NPCs ruin every puzzle. It may be a little bit too familiar if you've played the previous game recently, and Atreus, as a character just isn't a likeable lead, and the devs would be much better focusing on Kratos, as the series is essentially the story of Kratos. Okay, verdict. God of War Ragnarok is a good follow-up to the soft reboot of God of War that came out a few years ago. Yes, it may be more of the same, but it provides a fantastical adventure, although I would question if we really needed two God of War games set within Norse mythology. Sadly, the game is kind of ruined in part by your allies constantly talking and spoiling the puzzles. I find it really bizarre that the developers weren't even aware of this. There was an article recently I read where they didn't even realise, and the product testers, the game tester, didn't emphasise it. Who are they getting to test these games? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Also, as good as the story is, it's a game that is just veering far too distant from its source material, which was combat-driven action-adventure. So it is a mixed bag. It is a good game world, the combat is really enjoyable, there's plenty to do, good voice acting, good music, etc. But it is a bit same old, too much chit-chat, overly long narrative, and a few characters who really felt very pointless in the kind of grand scheme of things. I would recommend it, and it is a very good game, but for me it's definitely not as good as the last game, but it's still very good indeed. But I do feel like they need to address some of the issues with this, because I think they've lost a little bit of the focus on what the game really should be. Okay, my score for God of War Ragnarok is 8 out of 10. Okay, that's the review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe or join. This is Photography Gamer, signing off. Thank you.